Hello and welcome to Law of Money with me, Vivek Law. Today we are going to put the spotlight on tax. It's an issue which scares all of us, and it's an issue which is topmost on our mind. How do I save tax? Joining me over the next few weeks is Kuldip Kumar, who is the partner and personal tax lead at PwC India. My final question, Kuldip, to you is about property. We Indians love property, and a lot of us have invested in property. But many of us don't understand the taxation that is required on property. In a previous episode, you did talk about the loan and the principal part, which is exempt. What about the interest component if I've taken a home loan? Now, that's if I've taken a loan. If I've not taken a loan, supposing I have one or two properties, either I've given it on rent or either even if I've not given it on rent, if it's just lying locked, is there a tax liability for an individual?
Yeah, again, a very good question, and this also, feature in one of the most common mistakes, which happen. So, if you have one house property, this can be treated as a self-occupied house property. But if you're having more than one house property, so you have a tax obligation in relation to that property. If that property has been let out, then the rent which you earn from that property, that is required to be disclosed in your tax return. But assuming that if this property is lying vacant, then you have to pay tax on a notional rent had this property assumed to have been let out. Now at what value? That is the expected rent which this property would have fetched you had you rented it out. And when this is treated to be deemed to be let out house property, then the income is computed the same way had it been rented out. In other words, from that notional rent, you will be eligible to claim a deduction of actual municipal taxes you pay, then a deduction of 30% of various expenses, standard deduction you get out of that. And if you have borrowed any capital to buy or to construct that house property, the same interest you can also set off against that notional rent. So whatever the residual value is there, that would be considered as a taxable in your hand. Now, if the net result of that computation is negative, even that negative can also be set off against your salary income or against your income from other sources. So there is only one change which this year budget has made, but which will be applicable going forward, that such losses are restricted only up to 2 lakh rupees. So if you are having a liability of more, if you are having an interest liability say more than 2 lakh rupees, or the loss from the house property is more than 2 lakh rupees, so you only get the set off only up to 2 lakh, but the excess amount which is a loss from the house property can be carried forward to the next 8 years and can be set off against the future income.
Thank you very much, Kuldip, for talking to us here on Law of Money and clarifying lots of issues that concern people as far as their tax is concerned. We'll keep this conversation going. Thank you very much.
Thank you.